Thank you for coming to YAMAGATA Youth Summit 2023 today. We kindly ask you to turn off your mobile phone or set it on silent. Taking pictures, audio, and video recording are prohibited. And please refrain from eating, drinking, and smoking in this area. Thank you. Today's programs are Welcome Attraction, live performance by Anu. Welcome speeches by Haruka Sato, first-year student from Yonezawa Kojokan High School. Miku Sugawara, fourth grade student of Tsudajuku University. And Akitoshi Nagasawa Patty, fourth grade student of Keio University. Dance performance by Tendo High School Dance Team. A talk show with Mr. Ryotaro Sakurai will be starting from 4:30 p.m. Stage performance by Yamagata Aino Bushotai and Minyo Ika. One of our guests, Satoru Hiraga, is going to give a message to the youth. We'll be moving on to a panel discussion with the theme Sharing Values, Changing the World. And we're holding a meet and greet after the panel discussion, so everyone here today will have a chance to exchange opinions and business cards. Today's event will be held entirely in English. If you're watching this event on YouTube, please select Auto Translation. Thank you. Thank you for coming to Yamagata Youth Summit 2023 opening event today. It will start in just a moment. Now, please look at the screen. We'll be playing sightseeing promotional videos for Yamagata.
雪の下から出てきているフキノトウですね。春の香りです。
Hello everyone, welcome to Yamagata Youth Summit 2023 opening event today. I am Naoko Inoue, the host of today's event. It's such an honor to meet all of you. Thank you. Now we are presenting you welcoming performance by ANEW. I'd like to introduce this wonderful group to you. ANEW is a 4-member girl group based in Yamagata City, Yamagata Prefecture. Their concept, Art Idol, New World, centers around unique and alternative music with a strong emphasis on the individual personalities of the members. They aim to demonstrate that even from a local setting, they can influence and inspire the world. Through their monthly self-organized event, Shikakara, they have been attracting over 100 attendees every month. In May 2023, they successfully completed a tour in Taiwan and have been actively engaged in various activities, receiving offers from many different locations, including Tokyo, since their debut. They're definitely suitable for Youth Summit. Let's welcome them with a round of applause.
せーの。We are Onion! Let us introduce ourselves. Hi, my name is Amane Chun. I'm a poker player. Nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm Maimi Momoto. So, member color is luminous pink. I love ramen. Thank you.
I'm Tsumugi Riko. Member color is baby blue. I love Japanese subculture. Thank you. Are you girl?
No, I'm a princess. I'm Kokona. Nice to meet you.
Thank you for the invitation today. Please continue to enjoy the Yamagata Youth Summit 2023. Thank you. 以上、私たち、せーの、We are Onion! Thank you!
Thank you very much. Thank you. Please give it up for Anir again. That was a very energetic performance, don't you think? We all are rooting for Anir. Thank you very much. Now, Mieko Yoshimura, the governor of Yamagata Prefecture, has a few words on behalf of the organizers. Unfortunately, she's not able to attend this event due to an official duty. We received a video message from her, so watch the video, please.
Hello everyone, I'm Mieko Yoshimura, the governor of Yamagata Prefecture. I would like to extend a warm welcome to all of you here today. The Yamagata Youth Summit 2023 has officially begun. The Youth Summit brings leaders from various fields together here in Yamagata to discuss common global challenges and the utilization of local resources with young people here in Yamagata Prefecture. Last year, the inaugural Yamagata Youth Summit has held here in the Bunshokan. Passionate debates were held surrounding the theme of global, digital, art, and 21st century society. This passion was carried over to the subsequent area sessions held in each of the prefecture's 4 regions, where every venue was unique and sparked excellent discussions. The event, along with welcome performances and speeches by students and other volunteers from the prefecture, was widely broadcast online, both domestically and internationally. It was received with admiration by participants and viewers alike, who were surprised we were able to achieve an event of this scale in our small region of Japan. This year, while continuing the forward-thinking spirit of last year's event, we aim to provide an even fuller forum for discussion and exchange. Starting with this opening ceremony and subsequent events in each of Yamagata Prefecture's 4 regions, with area sessions in Kaneyama Town, Nagai City, Asahi Town, and Tsuruoka City. We hope to continue to surprise you with what we can do here in Yamagata. The coronavirus pandemic changed our way of life to an unprecedented extent. I believe that COVID-19 gave each of us an opportunity to look back on our lives and rethink what is important to us and what our priorities in life are. This year's Youth Summit will focus on those values of ours and how we can share them with our loved ones and others around the world in order to make the world a kinder and more interesting place. The main figures of this summit are not just the presenters, but also all of you who are gathered here and who are viewing the summit online. It is your participation that makes the summit more interesting and valuable. I would like to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here. Please participate actively and join us in making this Youth Summit a success. I hope that the encounters and bonds formed at this summit will serve as a source of inspiration for the future, and that each of you will be even more active in your respective fields than ever before, in line with our motto, "See you next time in Yamagata." The summit has now officially started. Please enjoy our Youth Summit.
Thank you, Governor Yoshimura. Next, the young generation of Yamagata will give us opening speeches about how they think and feel living in Yamagata. First, let's welcome Haruka Sato from Yonezawa Kojokan High School.
Hello, I'm Haruka who loves English. This summer, I went to Canada with a research theme of study to explore the elimination of racism. To solve this problem, I want to change the young generation so that they think of everyone as human beings. There are boundaries between countries, but I want to eliminate the boundaries of our hearts. People are naturally different, and it creates diversity and makes the world colorful and interesting. I would like to create opportunities to address discrimination and to improve the current situation even more little. I hope my message from Yamagata can reach people's hearts and change them for the better. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Haruka-san. Next, let's welcome Akitoshi Nagasawa Patti from Keio University.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Akitoshi Nagasawa from Keio University. My presentation title is Eyes to the World, Heart Being with Yamagata. So first of all, I would like to ask you, do you know the relationship between Yamagata Prefecture and Papua Province in Indonesia? So could you raise your hands if you know the relationship? Okay, thank you. Some of you know, right? Okay, thank you very much. So actually, Yamagata Prefecture concluded the sister prefecture agreement with Papua Province in 1994. And since then, Yamagata and Papua have deepened the relationship between heart and heart through two-way interaction. So what I want to emphasize here is that this relationship is following the project of to collect the remains of World War II war there. The world still faces the challenges of lots of war and conflict, and Papua also has such challenges. I am currently studying international relations at Chandrawas University in Papua Province as international student. So I'd like to contribute, and also I'd like to continue I'd like to continue my efforts to broaden my knowledge and perspective and network to contribute to world peace and prosperity of international society. And also, as well as, I'd like to develop the valuable bond between Yamagata and Papua. Thank you for listening, and terima kasih banyak.
Thank you very much, Akitoshi-san. Thank you. Next, let's welcome Miku Sugawara from Tsudajuku University.
Hello everyone. My name is Miku Sugawara. I'm from Tsuda University, and today I will introduce my lovely hometown, Yamagata's appealing. So now let's start. Yamagata, my favorite place in Japan. It offers year-round attractions. From cherry blossoms in spring to large green plants in summer, vibrant foliage in autumn, and snow monsters at Mount Dao in winter. The prefecture's natural beauty is awe-inspiring. And it's also a food lover's paradise with local rice, ramen or soba, seasonal fruits, and traditional food such as imoni. The warm-hearted people and unique dialect add to the charm. Yamagata has something to captivate every traveler's heart, so come and experience its magic. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Miku-san. Thank you very much. Each one of their messages were so impressive. This is a wonderful opportunity to know that there are bright young people here in Yamagata and in Japan who can share their ideas and thoughts with us. I believe that our thoughts and hopes can change the world and the future. Thank you very much. Now, we would like to show you a dance performance by Tendo High School Dance Team. Tendo High School Dance Team, a group of 22 members consisting of 11 first-year and 11 second-year students. Within their 5-day-a-week club activities, they challenge themselves to perform many different dance genres. They have set their sights on some pretty big goals, including winning at upcoming dance tour competition and USA Championship in winter, as well as aiming for a spot in the national dance competition. Let's welcome them with a big round of applause. Tendo High School Dance Team.
We are the dance team of Tendo High School.
We have 22 members.
We join the national championship every year.
In dancing, timing is very important, so we try to create a sense of unison among the members by encouraging communication.
We have a competition which is held.
We keep practicing very hard for it. Thank you.
Sweet is what I need. To the capital.
Please give it up for Tendo High School dance team. Thank you very much. Thank you. That was fun. Really fun. We really hope that they could win the upcoming competitions. Keep our fingers crossed for them. Thank you very much. Next, we will be welcoming one of today's guests, Mr. Ryotaro Sakurai, for the opening talk show. Please wait until the stage is set up. Thank you. Thank you for waiting. We will now begin the talk show with the theme, Learn from a YouTuber, How to Move the World. Let me introduce Mr. Ryotaro Sakurai. Mr. Ryotaro Sakurai is from Sendai, Miyagi Prefecture. After graduating from junior high school, he embarked on a solo journey to the United States and graduated from the International Business Department at Richmond University in the United Kingdom, returning to Japan after spending 10 years living abroad. Upon his return, he worked in the financial sector for 6 years before founding LifeBridge Company Limited in his hometown of Sendai in 2006. He's also known as a Cabinet Office Cool Japan producer. Since 2016, he has been producing Abroad in Japan, one of Japan's largest YouTube channels targeting Western and Australian audiences with over 2.8 million subscribers. Starting in 2020, he launched the YouTube channel Ryotaro's Japan and an Instagram account actively promoting the charm of local regions to a global audience. So we can't wait to hear what he's going to talk about. Please welcome him with a big round of applause, Mr. Ryotaro Sakurai.
Hi, everyone. Hello? Hi. Sorry, let me just set it up. It needed my fingerprint, I guess, so let me just get it ready. Is it ready? Okay, good. So, hi. So I'm so honored to stand here on this stage representing the youth of Yamagata, I guess. Youth, am I young enough, I guess? Yeah, okay, thank you for I think I forced you a bit too much, but anyway. So the title here is today I'd like to talk about Learn from a YouTuber, How to Move the World. I think many of you expected Chris Bo to be here, but he's too busy, so I'm here instead. Let me just introduce myself a little bit. as I have been introduced just now, let me just introduce like how I speak English a bit. I was born in Sendai, right next to Yamagata, 1973. It's a long time ago, before I guess Berlin Wall fell down, I guess. So, age of 15, I went to the States and spent 3 years in Seattle, where I learned my American accent. And then, age of 18 to 22, I went to UK in London, where I lost my American accent and I gained the proper English accent there. So, the age of 20 to 35, and I actually got my first job done in Düsseldorf, Germany, where I got my German accent a little bit. Anyone speaks German here? No, okay, fine, forget it. Then age 25, 26, I actually moved to Sydney, Australia. Anyone from Australia here? There you go. Just 1 year. I was a working holiday visa, so I could stay here 1 year. And then I got back to Tokyo, Japan, after 10 years of studying abroad or working abroad without internet. Can you believe that? It was a time machine. You know, coming back to Japan and to see all sorts of things. You know, everything was so new to me back then. But anyway, got back to Japan and I started working at the bank and securities company. So after 6 years of work, having worked in this banking industry, I started my own company right next here in Sendai, here in Tohoku. The company, what kind of company does is that we're actually working on to attract foreign tourists to Tohoku. So that was my main kind of a purpose of starting up the company, because during these 10 years working abroad, we're not working, we're studying and working abroad, I realized that there are only 3 places or 4 places in the whole Japan that people knew about. What are they? Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto, Hiroshima. That's it. Nothing else. There was no nominees in Tohoku, at least. There's no Sendai, no Yamagata, no one. So I wanted to tell the world that there is Tohoku. There is Yamagata, there is Sendai, there is Aomori, and there is Fukushima, there is everyone. So that was my first purpose of building up my company, starting up my company. Let me just tell you, that's what I did. So now, I got my own channel, Roto Japan, started at 2020. Right now, I've got about 155,000 subscribers in the internet, in YouTube, and about a bit more than 73,000 in Instagram. If you look at the insights of my channel, it's a bit too small, the letters, so let me just tell you. About 30% of my viewers are from US. About 12% are from UK. And about 7% from Canada, 6% from Australia, and so on and so on and so on. So mainly English-speaking countries, because I speak English in China. Surprisingly, 84% male. I'm so unpopular amongst females. That's what it says. I'm sad, but I'm glad at the same time. So many guys like me. And also, I'm pretty popular amongst the young people, I guess, 25 to 34. It's about more than 50%. That's my viewers. And I just wanted to, people ask me how I started YouTube. And I think many of you know how I started YouTube. I think people around me here, in front of me here, I think know. Because of this guy, right? His name is Chris Broad from the UK, where people speak proper English. This was back in 2015 when I met him. We started making videos in 2016, the first video. He had own channel called Abroad in Japan. That's the channel that she was just talking about, 2.9 million now. He's reaching 3 million soon, and trying to prevent it. So what happened back then was he already had a channel back then his viewers about 90,000, very, very small channel. Back then it was a big though, because the YouTube wasn't so big back then. Someone, actually a mutual friend, and he introduced me to him, and then back then he lived in Yamagata. He was in Sakata. In 2000, he started working as a high school English teacher, very typical. 2012, and then he, I think, worked for like 3 years, I guess, till I met him, and it was the end of his working year. He was finishing his contract at the high school in Yamagata, and I met him, and he, what do you want to do? And he goes like, I want to tell the world how the countryside looks like in Japan. My God, I think the same. I want to do exactly the same. So we started making videos together about Tohoku. So surprisingly, and very coincidentally, that our first video, 2016, February, I guess, was this one, Staying at Japanese Inn. Do you know where it is? This one. It's in Onogawa Onsen in Yonezawa. This is our first video. Can't believe it. I'm standing here, in Yamagata and talking about our videos in Yamagata. I'm so honored to be here talking about it. So this went viral. This went like, well, I think right now it's like, I just to take a look at it. It's got 3 million or something views already. And that's how I met him, and that's how I started my YouTube, involved in YouTube. I, first of all, was just a producer of helping him creating the stories, introducing people, getting sponsors and all that. But in this first video, he was like, oh, you just speak English. You happen to speak English with a proper accent. Why don't you just go in front of the camera and speak? And I did. That's how I started YouTube. So okay, enough of me. I want to talk about how to make places, Yamagata, viral. Before that, I'd like to talk about charts. Just a bit of a study. Transition and the current status of the foreign visitor to Japan since before, and this is before the COVID-19 outbreak. So this is Japan. This is the Tohoku. This is Japan. So I think, Japan started becoming popular amongst the tourists in 2012 and going upwards until 2019, of course, before the COVID-19 happened. So it started off from 8 million people in 2012, but then it gained so much, so rapidly, and by 2019, actually, it reached 31 million people. Can you believe that? This is the fastest speed of the increase of tourism in whole world. Whole world. You know why? SNS. It's the Facebook to begin with, and the Instagram, and now the YouTube, and TikTok, of course. So people, before 30 years ago, do you know what Japan was famous for? 30 years ago. If you ask Americans, say, or British people, what do you think of when you hear the word Japan? Samurai, geisha, ninja, Toyota, Honda, Sony. That was it. What are the famous places of Japan can you think of? Shinjuku, Kabukicho, that was the place. Because of the videos, right? Because of the films, right? Kill Bill, recently the Bullet Train by Brad Pitt, Lost in Translation. All these movies, they featured Shinjuku the most of the time. So during this period of time, 10 years or 7 years, when we actually faced the great increase of the tourists, you know what people realized? People realized that we had nature. People didn't know that we had nature. People thought that Japan consists of buildings and temples. No, we had nature. So let's take a look at who actually comes to Japan next. Question 1. Which were the top 3 countries with the most visitors to Japan? Do you know? Anyone? Of course, China. We're just so close to each other, And what's next? Do you know anyone? Korea. Third. Who is the third? Anyone? Taiwan. Who said it? Who said it right? Yes. Oh, Taiwan. She's clever, you know. So those are 3 countries. And then Hong Kong, USA, and Thailand, and so on and so forth. And so question number 2, up to August this year, which country has had most visitors to Japan? Taiwan? Who? Korea. Taiwan, and Hong Kong, and US, and so on and so forth. Because China, they couldn't come to Japan. Because they could not open up the boundary, the border till like recently. So the Korea became number 1. You don't really feel that Koreans are number 1 right now because you're in Tohoku. But if you go to Fukuoka, Kyushu, every time you go to a restaurant, the person next to you is Korean. That's the chance. The only language that you hear in Hakata station is Japanese and Korean. That's how many Koreans are right now in the Fukuoka area, but not reached Tohoku yet. I want to talk about, I got questions actually, another question. Activity planned by international visitors before visiting Japan. So what people want to do when they come to Japan? What is it? Number 1, what is it? Eat! Japanese food and Japanese sake. And the Japanese food, according to the survey, consists of sushi and ramen and meat. Somehow it says meat. I don't know why it's meat. It's not like dish anymore. It's an ingredient. But what's the most popular meat dishes? What do you think? Yakiniku is actually very popular. And it's very controversial because is yakiniku Japanese food? What is it? Korean food, because there's a kuppa, there's a bibimbap, and there's like, but people come to Japan to go to yakiniku restaurant and then they think it's Japanese food. Why is that? They are coming for Wagyu A5 beef. People know A5 beef. People know Yonezawa beef. People know Yamagata beef. People know Wagyu. That's what people come for. So when you think of the word Japanese food, it's not necessarily the Japanese food that you may think of. It's what's considered Japanese food by their perspective, not our perspective. That's what's important. So number 2, beautiful scenery, nature experiences. This actually was number 3 before, and now became number 2, because people are now tired of shopping. Still number 3 though. Again, because of the great increase of the people coming to Japan, and they were all promoting Japan on their SNSs, so that people now realize that we have mountains, we have rivers, we have lakes, and we have ski resorts. Look at Niseko. How many of you here have been to Niseko? 1, 2. Is that recent? No, long time ago? How many years ago? How was it? Were there already many tourists already? Not so much. Exactly. So about 10 years ago, okay, recently I've been doing this kind of thing in Hokkaido, so and I asked people, how many of you have been to Niseko? Many of them like raise their hands because they're from Hokkaido. 10 years ago, there was absolutely no foreigners. No foreigners. Now, if you go to Hokkaido this year, everyone is foreigner. When you go to hotel and check in, and sumimasen, oh, sorry, I'll call someone who speaks Japanese. That's what's happening right now. 4 slices of sashimi of salmon cost 2,000 yen. That's how much it costs in Niseko. That's what people notice. We have ski resorts, we have mountains. That's what makes this ranking the beautiful scenery, nature experience, number 2. Number 3, shopping. Number 4, hot spring, Yamagata, right? So I think I made the Onogawa Onsen viral, so I was just wonder how many foreigners actually have visited the onsen anyway. Number 5, experience in Japanese culture. Okay, you get that, right? So number 6 is very, very, very interesting because this actually came into the ranking very recently, and I'd never seen that before. Number 6 is experience in Japanese daily life. One of the most popular experiences in Tokyo, about 2 years ago, was to visit some Japanese housewife's house and cook Japanese food together because she speaks English. What made it as a number 1 is that you get to see how people live. It's almost like checking to see, oh my God, Japanese people actually take off their shoes when they get into the house. Oh my God, Japanese people's house, they have washlets. Oh my God, when you go to the bathroom, they do not have toilet separately. They have toilet separately, and they have bathtub, which is quite deep. You get confused why shower is placed away from the bathtub. That's how people get something, right? When you get the Japanese bath, you get confused, right? Why is the showers too far? That's what makes it so interesting, to actually get into Japanese people's houses and do the actual cooking. So these ranks are very important to make your content or videos viral, because you need to know what people want to know before making videos. Key perspective of thriving in regions, countryside, regions with intense local competition. Because everyone, I'm talking about every prefecture I'm talking about, Yamagata, Kumamoto, Hokkaido, everyone is trying to do the same. They want to make their places viral, right? They want to attract foreign tourists to every single prefecture. Everyone's doing the same. How can Yamagata, how can Tohoku be competitive? This is something that you cannot do. What is this? What kind of bento is this? Any Japanese person? これは何の弁当ですか? 幕の内弁当です。幕の内 mixed whatever bento. You can't do makunochi bento when it comes to tourism. Up until 2017, 18, whatever, every prefecture was doing the same thing. What they were saying, we have good meat, good seafood, great mountains, beautiful forests, friendly people. Everyone's saying the same thing. Yamagata was saying the same thing. And when people heard it, I think I heard it in Tokushima too. Why do I have to come up to Yamagata? Or I heard it in Kanagawa. Why do I have to go all the way to Yamagata when we have a makunochi bento right next to Tokyo? So what do we have to do? What do we have to serve? A5 Yonezawa Gyu bento. This is what we have to do when it comes to tourism. You need to stand out. You need to create a tool or the content that makes you want to participate or come beyond time and distance. Beyond time and distance. This is the most important word I'd like to emphasize in my speech here. Because, how does it take? I came to Tokyo this morning. Actually, I did come from Sendai. I had a meeting in Tokyo. I had to come all the way to Yamagata. How long did it take? About 3 hours, is it? 3 hours or so? 3 hours to Yamagata, all the way to Yamagata. Why do I have to spend all these 3 hours? Is there anything that would stand out, that would appeal to me, that would make me want to come to Yamagata? That's most important. Let me just take an example of what I do. This is what I do. This is the tour content I created, and I'm actually doing this tomorrow in Kagoshima as well. This is the Tochigi prefecture I'm doing right now. This is a Iwafune explosion experience I'm actually holding every month in Tochigi prefecture. Okay, let me just explain about this. You know Kamen Rider? Do you know Power Rangers? Do you know Sentai Mono? That's Power Rangers in Japanese anyway. So this is the location where they actually use when they explode things in those Power Rangers or Sentai Mono or Kamen Rider. This is a location place. So what we do here, we actually have the tourists make them come over to this place, and we actually do the explosion right in front of you so that you can shoot yourself with the camera. And this is what comes out. We recently have many wedding demands from grooms and brides doing the same. So they can, almost like what's the most popular pose? It's the groom holding the bride like that and walking and an explosion right behind, so that it looks like as if you know the film Fugitive, right? Fugitive. It's like a rescuing her. It's like that. So guess. Okay, so we did 3 explosions in 1 hour. 3 explosions. First explosion and a 15-minute interval, and second explosion, third explosion, and that's it. We only accept maximum of a group of 3, because otherwise we can't take the photo and someone will come into your frame. So I don't want that to happen. So how much is this, do you think? How much would this be per, like this 1 hour, right? 3 explosions, that's it. How much would you pay? $1,000. Thank you. Anyway, okay, I'll give you another information. 10 groups can attend. 10 groups can attend. Like, you know, they go like radical, like and then in radius, 10 groups in radius. And an explosion in the center. So when you take a photo like that, so how much would you pay? It's not only you, it's just 10 groups, 1 group. 1万円, okay. So this is 35,000 yen, 35,000 yen. 35,000 yen per group. Who would pay? No. Yes, thank you very much. 35,000 円これ払う人いますか? Thank you, 2 people. This is not bad, because this is what I want. What's most important is appealing to the community. Appealing to the community who loves Kamen Rider, who loves Power Rangers, who loves Yorizawa beef. We can't say to the world, everyone come. No. People who come to Yamagata are already tired of seeing temples, shrines, because they have already been to the ones in Kyoto and Osaka and Tokyo. They want to see something different. Did you see the video earlier? Did you see the Samurai Master? That's in Murayama. Because that's where it originated. That's what's important thing. Because this is where it started, the Iaido. That's most important, because this is the only place where you can do this. This is where it started. That's why you come all the way to Yamagata to experience it. Appealing to the community where they love samurai spirits. That's what it is. So what's important? So when I try to think about my new video, the content or the story, I always think about these 3 things. It needs to be Japanese. It needs to be something that would make you think about Japan. For instance, for Taiwanese people, when they hear the word aomori, oh, apples. This is what Japanese is all about. You're not thinking about, I'm not talking about samurai or geisha or something like that. A word that would make you think of Japan. Unique. Again, it needs to be unique. It needs to be only one, because otherwise they go to Tokyo. They get on to Tokaido Shinkansen, not Tohoku Shinkansen. It needs to be unique. It needs to be Yamagata unique. Third, comparable. Comparable. Needs to be comparable. Let me just give you an example of what the comparison is. Look, where is this? Do you know where this is? People who's got good eyesight maybe can see it. This is at Tokyo Dome City Attractions, aka Korakuen Yuenchi. So this is a theme park, right? Do you know what I'm in? I'm in Ferris wheel, Kanansha. This actually went not so viral by 4,433 likes. That's all right. Why did people like this? Because karaoke, unique. Japanese, right? Karaoke reminds you of Japan, right? Karaoke, that's very Japanese. Unique, only here. Do you know any other places in whole Japan, the whole world, that has karaoke inside the Ferris wheel? No, this is the only place. Thirdly, comparable. This is most important. It's important here that everyone knows Ferris wheel. That Ferris wheel should exist. Every other countries, you have Ferris wheels, right? But do you know any Ferris wheels that have karaoke in it? No. Imagine if you live in the world, there are no Ferris wheels without Japan. Then you see this, what is this? What are you in it? What are you in? It's like, so you cannot compare, right? So it needs to be comparable. So people have to know what it's like, and it's to compare how it's like in your country, how it is in Japan. And 3 more points. What makes you people love your content? It needs to be informative. To take a look at the, if you take a look at the Onagawa Onsen, the video, it's informative because it tells you where it is, where the Yamagata is with a map, where the Onagawa Onsen is, and why people love so much about hot springs. Very informative. Educational. From the video, I try to give information that the people can learn about. And then things that you want to tell to other people. Did you know? Did you know that, Dateba Samurai, the samurai warrior in Japan, the armor, the black armor, do you know who inspired, I don't know, do you know who the armor inspired? George Lucas. The armor of Dateba Samurai, the warrior, inspired George Lucas to create whom? Darth Vader. That's educational, right? You learned that now, you want to go to say that, right? But this is Yamagata. I would have to make people come to Yamagata now. That's educational. Funny. Do you like our videos? Why is that? If it's only informative and educational, just watch NHK or BBC or National Geographic. But our videos are funny because, for instance, abroad in Japan, me and Chris always like, I don't know, just, do the things that people like about it, say bad things to each other, making it funny. So if you actually, when you try to make a content, any content, it could be a tour, could be the video, could be anything, make sure that you have that product that you're making to be informative, educational, and funny. I would like to show you some examples of the videos that I created in my channel that people seem to like. First of all, death in Japan. Death in Japan. What dying is in Japan is like. Japanese Funerals 101. What kind of title is that? Did you know, in Japan, when you are born as a baby, where are you going to be taken to as a baby? Shrine, to get blessed. Just like in the Western countries, you do the same in church, right? In Japan, we do the same in shrines. So you're taken to a shrine, you get blessed by a priest. Priest? I don't know, priest. Let's say priest. When you get married, in many cases in Japan, where are you going to? Where do you go? Church. And say, I do. And you don't, usually you don't. Church, right? So it's a Christianity. When you die, your corpse or your body, where will it be taken to? Temple. So, in one life, in Japan, in particular, you go through 3 religions in one life. Shintoism, Christianity, and Buddhism. Where else? Do you think of any other countries that does the same? No. Japan is the only country that does it. People think, you are looking down religions. We believe in it really strongly. And they go, why do you do this? Because in Japan, religion is not religion. Religion is a custom. Way of life. Because we don't really believe in those gods in Buddhism. Because we believe in ancestors. That's what we believe in. We believe in animism. That's what Japan does. We don't really believe in religion so much, which is like one of the customs. So that's the point I had in my mind, that I thought it was very informative, I thought very educational, and I thought I could make it funny. That's why I went into coffin. Because then I get many comments saying, oh my God, Japanese coffin doesn't look like the same. Kaoke coffin. You know how it looks in Japan? It's a rectangle. Your coffin, I don't know, your coffin, it's like one of those coffin that has a curved shoulder. It's like one of those things that you see in Dracula. So people say, oh my God, you look different, your coffin look different. That's what comparable is. You can compare. I have coffin, you have coffin, mine is like that, yours is like that. Oh my God, it's a surprise. That's what makes it interesting and funny too. The Fukushima no one talks about. The Fukushima no one talks about stories from local people. When I make video, to make it unique, to make it interesting, to make it comparable, I always feature on people. When I talk about Fukushima, I don't talk about just the coastal side where people where no one lives. It's not only that. I always feature people. I always interview people. What is it like living in Fukushima after 12 years? How do you feel? What do you do? Because I want to actually put the light on the positive side, not only the negative side, right? Obviously, some people still cannot go back to the area where people used to live in, but they have a new life, positive life, happy life. So I wanted to talk about that, just to put emphasis on Fukushima isn't a sad place. There are many people who are happy people. That's what I did. So featuring with people, focusing on people. Third, what Japanese people eat for Christmas? KFC and secret revealed at last. Whole world gets shocked when people hear we eat KFC at Christmas. And Takeuchi Mario is singing. People eat turkey. Western countries, at least. People eat turkey. But because we don't have so many turkeys in this country, instead let's consider turkey as a chicken. So we eat chicken. So now people know, because Chris brought up in Japan, we always talk about people eating KFC at Christmas. So I was just bored of that. So what I did was secret revealed, and I wanted to show. In this video, I think I showed some typical Japanese Christmas cake, and that was quite different from that Western cake. That's what I did. So this is like all about comparison, all about being educational, informative, and funny. So I'd like to give you another, I've got 7 minutes more? Okay. Title. Because in YouTube, any blog or anything that you create articles or title is very important. The title that makes you want to click, because we need clicks, right? We always use the word the most. The most expensive train in Japan. The smallest hotel in Japan. The cheapest hotel in Japan. The biggest, whatever. It's always the most. That's what's important. Because people want to see it. Number is important. I will show you the examples later. Numbers, and surprise is the third one. So I'll give you some examples. Travel tips in Japan. 5 Japan travel tips you must know in 2023 that only a Japanese guy can teach you. So no one else can teach you. No foreigners can teach you. So 5 tips, right? 5 tips. So when you say 5, people would like to know 5, means that they will watch until the end. Another one. Why this village in Japan makes sushi without fish? Surprise, right? Because people think sushi always comes with fish. But there's a village in Kochi Prefecture, it's called Inakazushi. They make sushi only with vegetables. Because I thought this was good because it was informative and also educational because there's a story behind it. And for vegans, vegetarians, they like to visit these places and enjoy the sushi. Surprise. Thirdly, 7 things that even surprise Japanese people about Japan. Like this guys, old guys say, "My son." It's this is talk about. I think this talks about like Japanese people. They I forgot 70% adoption. The people adopting people, right? Adopting kids and normally when you use the word adopt, you talk about kids, right? But 70% of adoption in Japan are adults. Something like that. So very interesting, very informative, very educational. Oh, I didn't know that. I have to tell to people. I have to tell people. You know, in Japan, 70% of the people who get adopted are like all adults. Oh my God. These things are very important. Want to make you click and read and watch. So what's most important here, I mean overall, is viewer's perspective. It's not your perspective. It's viewer's perspective. That's what's most important. You might think, oh my God, this is interesting. This is funny. This is informative. But if your viewers don't think so, it's not so. This is my failure. The fault I made on the left. Let me just talk about on the left. Beautiful sea, right? Beautiful beach. This is the Hateruma Island. It's the southernmost point of Japan, right outside the Ishigaki Island. 90 minutes ferry ride. You only have 50% chance of getting into the ferry because of tide wave, the high tide, they get some. They don't go many times. But this way didn't go viral at all. People didn't like it. Why is that? You know, you saw the other one with a Ferris wheel. They got like 4,500 likes or whatever. This one only got 1,000. Why is that? Who are my viewers? My viewers are Americans, British, Australians, Canadians, and so on. So and so. This is beautiful sea, right? Caribbeans are more beautiful. British, Mediterraneans, Greek beaches, they're beautiful. Greek islands, they're beautiful. They're more beautiful than this. Australians, Great Barrier Reef, more beautiful. They don't have hearts here. That's what it is. I thought this was really beautiful and people would like it. No. People are used to seeing this. People have their own beaches like that. So you need to know beforehand. You need to research beforehand what people. And that's why I show the rankings beforehand. To tell you what tourists who are coming to Japan would like to do when they come to Japan. So let me just give you some example, the things that I think I thought was as a case study would be useful. How many of you have been to Fox Village? キツネ村行ったことある人? Well, there you go, 2 people. Oh, only 2 people. Okay, I thought it was 1,000, but anyway. In Fox Village 2018 or 19, 50% of the people who go to Fox Village recently now are foreign people. They're all foreign. 50%. Half. Why is that? There's a reason behind it. There is always a story behind it. In 2015, there's a YouTuber called Rachel and Jim. They featured this Fox Village driven by a chauffeur called Chris Broad. I remember the day he told me, oh my God, their video went 3 million. I should have covered it first. I still remember that he said that. Anyway, so they did it. It went 3 million views in I think, a matter of like a week or so. And then now, look at it, 30 million views. Amazing, isn't it? But what's most important is that after this video went viral, what happened is that there is a chain reaction of influencers, meaning that not only Rachel and Jen, including Chris Broad, every other, not only Westerns, I'm talking about Thai influencers, Indonesian influencers, Taiwanese influencers, Chinese, they all went there because they saw this video. And they saw the results of Google search. Say if you search for Fox Village, you get 20 million results. This, as a result, is what's happening in Fox Village. Half of the people who are coming to Fox Village are foreign. So this is what you need to see in Yamagata. That reaction, I would say chain reaction of influencers. But again, if you want this to happen, again, needs to be unique, needs to be Japanese, it needs to be comparable. People who don't know why this Fox Village went viral, I will tell you the reasons. Fox Village, there is no such a thing as Fox Village or Fox Zoo in the world. There is no such a thing as Fox Village that you can actually go into the cage and being watched by 100 foxes. There is no such a place like Fox Village where you can actually pet the foxes. Do you know anything like this? No. But do you know anything very similar to this? Yes, koala in Australia. That's what people are expecting to see. Many Japanese people go to Australia, all the way to Australia, not to New South Wales, but to Queensland, because you can pet. Because in New South Wales, you can only hold. So, vice versa, sorry. In Brisbane, you can actually hold. And in New South Wales, you can only pet. So like that. So Fox Village, that's how, it's all rules, right? Unique, Japanese, and comparable. There's no such a zoo. Because there are so many Japanese people today, I knew I want to talk about another case study about how you can make your shops and restaurant viral. There's one restaurant called Momo, yakiniku restaurant in Momo. This yakiniku restaurant is quite unique because you don't cook for yourself. Someone will cook it for you in those yakiniku plate, whatever you call it. I took this out in my video long time ago during the COVID where restaurants are having suffering, not having any customers. So I told him, the owner right here on the left, saying that I don't think no one will come for a while because there is no foreign tourists right now, right? Then I think last year about October, they had a 1 or 2 a month maybe. But what he did was this. Promotion by influencer, but that's me. Super friendliness and live performance. He was so kind to everyone who came to the restaurant because, he cooks for you. There's more time in communication, right? So he was so friendly. He doesn't speak English. But he said, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, now. Very good. That's it. Super friendly and live performance, right? He did that. People loved him because the food was so good. He was so friendly. And so there's always a last phrase that he used at the end of the meal. It was like, oh, the food was great. Food was great. Okay, thank you. Google Map, okay? That's the only thing he said. That's only English said, I would say. Only English he said. Google Map, okay? So, when there's such a friendly restaurant, when someone asks you to write a comment on the Google Map, you would, right? The comment. Oh, this is like a Japanese translation there because I'm using Japanese version of Chrome, saying, 私はどこへ食べても everywhere. Normally, I rarely make a comment in Google Map, but I would this time. I watched the Road to Japan, and I love this restaurant, so I make a comment. People who saw this comment now coming back. Sorry, not coming back. They'll come. So what's happening right now is here. Super friendly. So encouraging customer to post a Google Map, and then you comment Google Map, and new customer after reading the comment. So I just gave a hook. That's it. He did the friendly part. He did the please post the comment part. That's it. I just did a hook. Now he gets foreign customer every single day. Now, there are many more customers that have not seen my videos. Thai people, Singaporeans, the people who don't watch my channel recently often. So that's what's happening. So again, this is like I'm concluding my speech right now. So again, being unique is very, 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 very important. And Japanese people don't think about it so much. And then people become afraid to be unique in this country. But you need to stand out, especially when you live in countries that you need to stand out. And you need to be the only one to make yourself stand out. And that's what Tohoku needs to do. And I'll keep promoting Tohoku, all the small bits and pieces, like all the topics that people in the world don't know about yet. I'll try to make videos about that. And then hope you like those videos. And and then I'll come back to Yamagata again. I think I need to come now. Speaking about Yamagata, I feel like I need to go back to Onogawa Onsen and meet Sato-san from the Ryokan, right? And meet him and enjoy Yonezawa Gyu Shabu Shabu. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sakurai. Literally, we did learn a lot from Mr. Sakurai today. Anyone can be a YouTuber, I guess, but if you only know how to, and he taught us how to, remember. Thank you very much. Now, it's about time to move on to the next attraction. Yamagata Aino Bushotai and Miyo Ika special collaboration. Yamagata Aino Bushotai is the official regional samurai squad of Yamagata Prefecture, established in 2010. They carry on the spirits of the great samurai warlords who once thrived in the land of Tohoku and Yamagata over 400 years ago, passing down the tales of their valor and the honored history and culture of their homeland, which the samurai cherished. Their mission is to share the pride and the captivating essence of their region with people all across the country. And Miyo Ika, Yonezawa, Yamagata Prefecture-based group, has been performing on stage as a family since 1948, with a focus on taiko drumming and interweaving traditional Japanese elements such as folk songs and shamisen into their music. They have toured all over the country with a repertoire centered around Yonezawa folk songs such as Yonezawa Bon Uta, folk songs from Yamagata and other parts of the country, and Uesugi Taiko, which was their first piece to be used at the festival in Yonezawa. Over 3 generations, Miyo Ika has continued to preserve and pass down the traditions of folk songs and Japanese drums created by their family to future generations. Let's welcome them with a big round of applause. Yamagata Aino Bushotai and Miyo Ika.
Hello everyone! My team is Yamagata Aino Bushotai with Yonezawa Miyo Ika. We are famous samurai from Yamagata. This is Uesugi Samurai Unit from Yamagata. First time, I speak English very little. Because I'm samurai. これよりは少しばかり日本語で案内をさせていただく。我らは山形愛の武将隊、2010年より結成いたし、今年で14年目の戦国武将隊で、 これより歓迎の演舞を行い、皆と共に時を過ごしてまいる。Everybody, ready? イエーイ。行くぞ、スリンジャー。天下に敵と存ずる者は嵐の中の知り合い、上杉の豪の者、杉原久之助近乗り、参る、せい、はあ。一戦坂を乗り越え、祖国に示すは義の心、上杉の外交や坂進まぬ神、影近なり。いかな今日も自由をもって打ち破らん、すべては上杉家のために名をかねつ。はい。Thank you very much. Oh, please introduce. His name, G2 Sato. G2, nice shakuhachi performance.
Yeah.
Thank you. And he, Master Japanese drums and Master Japanese classical musical. 民謡。すごいやつなんじゃ。すごいやつです。さてな、これよりもう一節舞を披露してまいろうか。
なれば皆様この後の演舞も存分にお楽しみください。Let's get excited! OK?
Thank you very much. なれば皆様、
米沢民謡一家、そして山形愛の武将隊コラボ演目鼓舞音曲、どうぞ最後までご覧ください。 さて、これよりラストパフォーマンスサムライズセレモニー勝ち時さがなれば我らの勝ち時は総大将がエイと王さんから皆は拳を上げて王と王を2回お答えくだされ。これをリタビ繰り返してまいる。
ご安心召され。一回練習しよう。レッツプラクティス。わしがエイ皆がオッケー。イエーイ。Thank you very much。さあレッツゴー。ベストパフォーマンス。本番はもっといいの見せてくれよ。あればお願いいたします。
方々、この場所は文章館である。かの昔、この地より山形の県政が始まった。大正明治の大火で燃えた後も皆の力で復興いたしたのじゃ。文が羽ばたく館と書いて文章館である。本日多くの学びを手に入れた。その学び、この山形東北の地より存分に羽ばたき、遥か異国まで届けてほしい。わしらに400年前できなかった夢である。共に力強く勝ち時を上げてまいる。おのおの方、立ちを召され。
おお、さあ皆拳を召され。
元気を参りましょう。我らと共にいざえいおおえいおおえいおお見事な勝ち時だった。次なる開催を楽しみだ。さらば我らはこの国また山形世界に見せるかではないかと。演技帝国さらばだ。
Please give another round of applause to Yamagata Ai no Bushotai and Miyo Ika. It felt like we were transported back into the period of warring states. Thank you very much for the powerful performance. We'll be moving on to the panel discussion soon. We'll have a 5-minute break. And please wait until the stage is set up. Thank you. This is an announcement for visitors today. We will soon begin the panel discussion. Please be seated. Wait for a moment. Thank you. Thank you for waiting, everyone. We will now begin the panel discussion. At first, I'd like to introduce Mr. Satoru Hiraga, a chairman of Marsh Broker Japan Incorporated. Please welcome Mr. Satoru Hiraga.
Don't worry, I'm not singing, so just making a little short speech about what I did for, I'm now 65 years old, and I'm doing constantly the same thing for more than 30 years. And what I'd like to just present just in front of you youngsters, the important thing is practice makes perfect, or persistence pays off. 継続は力なり. Keeping the same things, but for many years, then you'll learn, and that you'll be becoming your confidence. That's what I'd like to tell you all about. Thank you very much for introducing me, Inoue-san. By the way, I'm working at the company of Marsh. Probably nobody knows about the company. The headquarters is located in New York. Established 1871, so it's around 150 years ago. And nowadays, we have 85,000 employees all over the 130 countries, and our turnover will a little over $20 billion, which is 3兆円ぐらい. You can see this iceberg, and you see only the iceberg above the sea level. But the thing is, 1/5 is just over the sea level, and the rest are below the sea level. This is what I learned, and which is I continue to study and work around about risk and opportunity. Above the sea level is so-called the opportunity, or let's make in the company is what is called the turnover or the profit. You can see in a very good side, the positive side. But in beneath, there's something which have more an obstacle, or some of the what is called the risk or danger or crisis, a negative world. But please keep in mind that there are two dimensions everywhere, all over the world. And I'm studying about risk. And what is risk? The origin is from Latin language, which is from lisicere, risico, risco. Almost all the words are the negative meanings, except the first one, lisicere. Lisicere is something very risky or something like a crisis, but in the same word, they have the word of opportunity or challenge. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. That is the word originally come from the risk itself. Does anybody here knows about VUCA? VUCA is a recent word of what is showing the word itself. It's volatile, many up and down, uncertainty. We don't know the future, which comes after 5 years or 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. Even now, you cannot expect what is happening tomorrow. Complexity. Many things are so complicated. So people are really hard to understand what will be going on for the future. Ambiguous. Or probably some of the senior persons knows about the word of fuzzy. It is well known in about 20 years ago, fuzzy. Uncertainty, ambiguous, unclear. That is a symbol of the word itself. So how do we react to those uncertain or ambiguous words? We need to find out what is keeping some damage to us. Risk. Anybody knows about black swan? Black swan is, of course, the swan with a black color. And nobody's knowing that the black swan is in this world until end of 17th century. It's only white color swan. There was no black swan. That's what we people believe. But coincidentally, in the year end of 17th century, 1697, the people found the black swan in Australia. And this is some words for difficult to predict the risk. Nobody is believing that there's a black swan in the world, but there was. And that is sometimes used for the word of low awareness of the risk. Besides, there's a black elephant or gray rhino. Suppose there's a big elephant in this room. Of course, the elephant is not so strong enough and then breaks soon all the buildings and whatever. Anyway, they keep quiet for certain times. But we don't know that elephant will be like 15 minutes or a day later. They're tired of keep quiet and then snoring and break all the buildings here. That is what we call the gray rhino or the black elephant is like a COVID-19. You remember that. It happened in 2019 for 3-4 years. But it was happened 100 years ago, the similar one, what is called the Spain influenza. But we didn't learn from that. Occurred, the things happened again 100 years later. We people are easy to forget that the big events happened, or sometimes we believe, for example, earthquake. The big earthquake will be soon occurred here in Japan. But when? People beliefs are 30 years later, not tomorrow. Try to extend that event longer the better. Not coming soon, but it's not. Risk will become even now, even today, even tomorrow, not 30 years. That's what I study and that's what I work for. Oh, there's no slide? Okay. Oh, here we go. What I like you to share is the risk is not, okay. Think, COVID-19 in 2019, once occurred, what's happened after? What's happened after is that people, you, work at home, study at home, on a remote, no face-to-face. What's happened after? In this podium, in this room, probably everybody has the computer, the laptop. Does anybody here don't have the laptop? Surprise. If I raise this question to some of the emerging countries, half or 30% or some of the percentage raise hands. They don't have. In addition, we have the laptop, and then we use as the remote working, studying. But is it safety? There is no cyber threat? There was. There are so many cyber attacks happened or occurred just after the COVID-19. Even here in Japan, many of the major corporations have some damage through the cyber attack because we didn't have time for prepare that event. So risk is occurred anyway, but anyway, we didn't expect any of that COVID-19, so it happened, and damage. So you can see this one. After the infection disease, the COVID-19, you see the upper level, the cybercrime, failure of cybersecurity measures, digital inequality, people who has the laptop, who don't have the laptop, there's some sort of the differentiation, disparity. And then after that, because of some of the flow, the streamline is stopped, the economic risk is occurred, and then after, our cost of living is not doing very well. Even now, we feel some of the inflation. Does everybody here feel that after COVID-19, my standard life is getting better? Probably better after the COVID-19, but most of the people say, well, the cost of living crisis is occurred. Some of the merchandises are higher than before. My salary is the same. That's a risk. So what do we think, and what I'd like to share finally with you, youngsters, and many young people here, in the teenagers, is think. Raise your questions every time. why, how, when. Silence is not gold, but that's what we learned somehow in Japan. You know, there's some of the proverbs saying that the eyes can speak, 目は口ほどに物を言う. And I learned my the college time in the States, but what I learned first is keep your bottom line first. Say the conclusion first, and then say the reason. Japanese way is quite opposite. But first speaking whether yes or no, that's important. But in order to do that, keep the good communication is one thing. Open yourself. And also, as I said at the beginning, continuity is very important. Persistence. If you keep doing the same things, 5 years, 10 years, or even more, my time is like 30 years, and that is becoming my confidence. Many of the high school students will play, some sports, but keep doing that. And isn't that becoming your confidence? Dance? Yeah, please do so. And of course, keeping very much open mind, that means don't close yourself. Keep open. And that becomes that you need sometimes at the beginning, brave, but keep doing so. Intellectual curiosity or insight is the key word for you to make a very bright future and be confident every time, or be enthusiastic. That's my message to you all. Thank you very much.
Very meaningful, very important message to the youth and to us. Thank you very much, Mr. Hiraga. Thank you. We will now start the panel discussion. Let me introduce our panelists today. A freelance announcer, Manami Sasaki. From major food manufacturer, Fabio Kazuo Akiyoshi. Big hospitality consultant, Alina Christina Saiki. And president of Latona Company Limited, Kyoko Otawa. And today's facilitator, Nikkei Asia reporter, Alice French. Now I pass the microphone over to Ms. French.
Hello, is this on? Okay, great. Thank you very much, Inoue-san. Hello, everybody. How's it going? Are you enjoying the event so far? Great. Well, thank you very much for being here today. We are very excited to be talking to you. The theme of our panel discussion is Sharing Values, Changing the World. We have a great lineup of very diverse panelists today from a variety of backgrounds, companies, and countries. So I thought we would start by asking everybody to introduce themselves. If we can start with Manami, please.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm Manami Sasaki. Yamagata has been a place of many memories for me because it's a place where I started my career as a news anchor at the Yamagata television. As a news anchor and a reporter for a travel program, I had the opportunity to interview all around the Yamagata. After leaving Yamagata television, I joined one of the Tokyo's broadcasting companies and became a news anchor. Then went to the United States. There I studied journalism as a visiting scholar at one of America's universities. After coming back from the United States, I am now a newscaster for an economical TV program. Today, I would love to share my own thoughts on how to advertise charms and attractions Yamagata has to offer. That's it.
Okay, hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Fabio Kazuha Kiyoshi. I'm from Brazil. When I was 8 years old, I came to Japan. Since then, I've been living here. I had great opportunities to work in India, Mexico, for a Japanese company as well. Traveling 32 countries, like meeting so many people, knowing so much about how wide this world is. After that, I had also a great chance to work in Tokyo 2020, the Olympic and Paralympic committees, for 2.5 years again. So here was quite chaotic with the whole pandemic that made everyone confused, but we also overcome so many difficulties. And finally now, I'm living in Tokyo, working for food industry, or yeah, we make snacks or cheese, milk. So I think you might know. So today I'm really glad to receive this opportunity to speak in front of everyone here, share some ideas or values. I hope I can deliver something new for everyone or to open the mind of someone. So thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Alina. I'm originally from Romania and I have been living in Japan for 9 years almost. And at first I came in as a student. I was studying at Kobe University, and after that I moved to Tokyo for work. And right now I'm also living in Tokyo. I'm a vegan hospitality consultant. I started my own small business called Vegan Omotenashi 1 year ago. And I also work in tourism as a tour guide, and I also help people to plan their trips to Japan. And I'm very honored to be here today. I've been to Yamagata before, and I love Yamagata, so thank you so much for the invitation, and yes, thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Kyoko, CEO of Latona. I'm from Japan, Puri, and we are providing the AI and IoT system for manufacturing or retail AI monitoring camera or optimization of inventory control and so on. This is kind of a tech startup. So before I established my company, I was in Accenture consulting firm as a consultant. Then when I working as a consultant, I wanted to change more drastically, like using next generation's technology. So I learned a lot of technologies, big data, blockchain, AI, and IoT, so on. Then I established my company 6 years ago. So today I'm here to explain, tell about a lot of things. Actually, as entrepreneurs, purely Japanese ladies, and so on. So yeah, I want to talk and I want to share a lot of things today. So we can discuss a lot of things together. Thank you.
Great, thank you everyone. And as you already introduced, I'm Alice. I used to work in the Yamagata prefectural office, and I now work as a reporter in Tokyo, mostly covering society and human rights issues. So I thought we would start off in Yamagata. This event is to celebrate all of the brilliant things that Yamagata has to offer. It's also one of my favorite places in the world, and I think we are all big Yamagata fans. So I thought we would start by asking Manami, whose former job was to present and convey the wonders of Yamagata to the rest of Japan and the world. So Manami, can you tell us a little bit about what were the values that you conveyed when you were an announcer here, and what were the challenges that you faced during that job?
Okay, one of the things I found difficult while working in Yamagata was to arrange an interview. I have had the chance to interview local areas around Japan, but to be frankly honest, Yamagata was the most difficult prefecture to ask for street interview. Like, excuse me, like, for example, like I would call a restaurant for an interview for a TV program, but they would decline because they are so shy. They don't want to be on TV program. But yeah, actually this has happened many times, yeah. But on the other hand, I think those who run B2C businesses feel that advertising through social media and other means are getting more important these days, right? So what's more important is that people take the chance to advertise using the full potential that social media has. Learning social media marketing could be option expand impression to users. Think that your action has the ability to tap into the undeveloped possibility Yamagata can have. This can also tie into developing your own business too. That's my opinion.
Definitely, yeah, I think those are some really good points. And yeah, I suppose differences in communication styles can sometimes be challenges when you're trying to convey the values of the place that you're trying to promote. And Fabio, I think today is actually your first time visiting Yamagata, is that correct?
Yes, this is my first time here.
So we need to persuade Fabio about how amazing Yamagata is today. But you are an avid traveler, right? And you've visited many different countries, you've visited lots of different places in Japan. Can you relate to anything that Manami said about the sort of perhaps people not being so forthcoming or perhaps being a bit shy? And how do you, from tourists' point of view, overcome those sort of communication differences?
I see, it's an interesting question actually. Traveling for around 32 countries, obviously there's many places English doesn't work. Of course, English is the most useful language in the world when you go somewhere because at least you can find someone you can communicate with and at least numbers or something people understands you. However, when you get into in a village inside nowhere in Thailand, for example, obviously they will not know how to communicate much and they will be a little bit more close, let's say. But I realized that when we try to talk with them with gestures, with your face, for example, you can explain a lot of things. Hiraga-san also was telling that the eyes tell so many things for each other. There is something that maybe in Japan, that's my point of view probably, but people are more calm, you listen to the conversation with your serious face. But sometimes you cannot really get what the other are feeling. So the expressions are really important in my point of view. So I think that's my way of traveling around and trying to communicate as much as I can.
But as you say, there's obviously lots of different types of communication, and I'm sure that, like you say, Japan, I would imagine, differs a lot from the way that people communicate in Brazil. But there's also some value in those differences, right?
Values, yes, there's a lot of values, especially when we talk with someone, from many other countries, even here, we have all different values. That's why we are standing out maybe. But yeah, those values, we can go somewhere and say we like this food or do not like this. That's our value, but we are not criticizing something. I think that's same for everything we do. Everyone has a different way of thinking. This pen for me can be a really great meaning, but for someone else can be just a pen. So I think that's the same thing when we are traveling and when we communicate. I try to not judge that person but what they're talking, but by the content, not judge, but understand why that person talk about this, or what's the background of this person's story. Can be the country he lives, or it can be the style she or he likes. So I think that's very important to get into the communication, not only by your body language, but also by trying to be open-minded, try to understand each other.
Definitely, yeah. So being open-minded, understanding and acceptance, I think are really important things. And that feeds into what you do as well, Alina, right? So I'm sure you're going to tell us a lot more about your vegan efforts in Japan. But obviously veganism in Japan is still a relatively new concept, a relatively new trend, I suppose, compared to where I'm from in the UK, for example. How have you found is the best way to sort of convey the values and your passion for veganism in Japan? And what are the biggest challenges in spreading that way of eating, which is perhaps not familiar to a lot of Japanese people?
Okay, maybe I should explain a little bit what veganism means at first, because maybe not everyone knows. So veganism is the lifestyle that excludes animal exploitation. So meaning that vegan people don't eat animal products such as meat, fish, eggs, or dairy, all the good stuff, right? And also they don't wear leather products or other animal products, wool, for example, and don't support animal attractions such as zoos. And that's because that started when people realized that, for example, in farming, in animal farms, animals are treated with a lot of cruelty. So a lot of people started to didn't want to support that anymore. And also veganism has other benefits, such as environmental protection, because too much consumption of animal products can contribute to climate change, and also it has some health benefits as well. And that's basically veganism. And in Japan, there are still not too many vegans. Most vegans in Japan are actually inbound tourists. And in Japan, it has been a little bit difficult in Western countries. For example, in the United States, 50% of restaurants have vegan options, but in Japan, it's like 1%. So the difficulty comes in, of course, in the Japanese cuisine. They use katsuo dashi, the fish stock, and that's very difficult to convince people to give up, to take away from the food. And also, I feel like lots of people are just don't want to be different. They want to be like their friends. So if their friends go to eat yakiniku, they want to go with them, and they look at veganism as something like really strange because almost nobody does it in Japan. So people are like, oh, I don't want to be vegan. I want to be like my friends. So people are encouraged, the society is encouraging people to think and behave the same. So that's probably what I think one factor that makes it really difficult to adopt veganism in Japan.
Yeah, but we are in Yamagata today, which is known, as we heard earlier, for beef, but it's also known for rice and vegetables and lots of potentially vegan options, right? Could you give us just a couple of examples, not necessarily from Yamagata, but what are some easy switches or some simple foods that people who are wanting to maybe experiment with veganism could try in Japan?
Well, in Japan, there's a lot of tofu. So using tofu as a protein instead of meat would be one good option. But also there's a lot of soy meat right now. Even in Japan, even you can find it in supermarkets if you look really well. I'm sure you can find it in Yamagata as well. And for example, you cook nikujaga, let's say, and you just switch the meat for soy meat, or yakisoba, or like bolognese pasta. Just any, and you can find many types of soy meat, and you just switch that for the meat in the dishes you usually cook at home. So you can try that maybe a few times per week. So it would make a good difference, I think.
Yeah, that's really helpful. And I've actually found over the last few years that social media is a really helpful place to look for potential vegan recipes and recipes that use ingredients you can easily find in Japan to make a diverse range of dishes. And Sakurai-san earlier was also telling us about the power and the value of social media and technology in general in terms of sharing new and diverse ideas. And Kyoko, obviously that's what you do with your company, is you promote the value of new technology and how it can be used in different businesses and for different purposes. But I think something that comes with that new technology is perhaps a little bit of fear, or a little bit of what Hiraga-san was talking about, risk, right? And I think it's become a very hot topic recently, particularly with AI. People are a bit worried about the risk of new technologies and how society will change. What do you say to clients that are maybe a bit worried about the potential risks or dangers of technology?
Okay, I would like to share we overcome the situation of COVID pandemics. Yeah, we struggle to communicate with clients because even in Japan, I'm in Tokyo, and I established my company as a technology, as a specialist of technology. And our client is some of our clients in local area as working in factories. Then we need to explain our system, which this system is good for your work operations and better efficient way to change your job. But some people, mostly all over people, scared to replaced by AI and IoT and digitalization. Yeah. Usually they use paper document to submit some reporting people. Then they pass to the paper. Then process is going. Yeah. So we need to explain the details using like demonstration or some using by like Zoom communication or Teams communication. It is in now it's popular in Japan, all over Japan, but before COVID pandemic, no one used that in factories. Yeah, so we prepare the environment together to put the camera and laptops, and we change the camera one people, and demonstration camera like. Yeah, so we provide the environment like face-to-face communication. Yeah, then gradually the clients can communicate with us flexibly. Yeah, then I struggle the situation and the diversity. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think your story is a really good example of how the young generation can really contribute to society, because we saw in the pandemic, technology suddenly almost overnight became so necessary for communication. And so people like you, and I mean, I have to say I'm not particularly tech savvy, but the younger generation were able to teach maybe the older generations these really important skills, like you say, and help with communication. And I definitely felt, I mean, I was living in Japan throughout the pandemic, and it was very difficult not being able to communicate directly with family and friends back home. And I think perhaps several of us on this panel felt that. Fabio, did you have any of those sort of experiences during the pandemic in Japan?
Yeah, actually a very extreme experience during the COVID pandemic, and especially my personal life. I think my wife is watching the YouTube now as well. But before the COVID, I was dating with my wife, well, was my girlfriend actually, and we were engaged in 2019. However, when the pandemic happens, she just back to her country for just like a Chinese New Year, because she's from China. However, then the borders were blocked. No one could traveling, even couldn't go out from our home. However, the technology helped a lot. Like we normally use WeChat, but can be WhatsApp, can be Line, whatever, Zoom. We can really feel the person close to you. You can talk as that person is in front of you. You can see at least the face, like how the person is feeling. That's like something changed a lot these years that made the world much more connected. There's a lot of things that we cannot really feel through the technology. For example, we cannot touch, we cannot breathe the same air, we cannot experience the same food in the same plate, for example. But definitely the technology is helping a lot us to get closer to each other. But after COVID, after I could meet with her, and during COVID as well, I felt the importance of meeting with people a lot, because like my meetings nowadays in my work, 90% of that it's actually held online. Like I do rarely go to work in my office. But it's really important to meet sometimes, like feel the person, because during your web meeting, probably you cannot feel what the person is really thinking. The person can be just quiet, and so many people just turn off their camera. So you can be quiet, but you're participating in a meeting. But I feel like as much as you can be together with someone, go out or talk, try to see how people are really, the atmosphere of those people. I think it's a really important point, even the technology growing up.
Definitely, and I think, like you say, the pandemic has made us value that person-to-person interaction even more, and particularly when we're talking about cultural differences and international exchange, which I think we're all very passionate about on this panel. Going to a country and speaking with people is really, of course, the best option when one can and when one is lucky enough to not be restricted by a pandemic. And Manami, you had experience in the US, right, studying. So you went there and it was your first time going to the States. What kind of things did you experience in terms of cultural differences? And was there anything that you realized or that you learned for the first time that only happened because you actually went there in person?
While I was in the United States, there was a value that changed in me. It's that you need to verbally communicate and express yourself. If someone has lived with others who have similar background, their communication style tends to get more high context, meaning even with less words, the other party will still understand your intention or what you wanted to say. But Japan, being an isolated country, our high context communication has evolved so much more compared to other countries, right? However, let's put this the other way around. You travel to some different country. No one teaches you, no one explains to you, and most of all, you don't know the language. I think maybe in these circumstances, you will start to be anxious. There is definitely a beauty of the Japanese culture, not talking too much. But however, for overseas travelers, I realized that the true kindness is to fully explain or just simply talking with them, right?
Definitely. And I wonder, Alina, if you, sorry, you were going to have a drink there. If you have anything to add on to that as someone who works in hospitality and in travel, and how do you when you're trying to convey vegan values and how amazing veganism is, how do you overcome language barriers, but also cultural barriers, like you were saying before, of the idea that people maybe don't want to do something different to their friends? I would imagine maybe the best way is to just get someone to just try the food, right?
Yes, definitely. That's the best way. It's to have people try it on themselves, not to tell them what to do, because people don't like to be told what to do. But if you go together, if I have a friend and I say, let's go together to eat out, and we go to a restaurant, they usually try to match me and also get the vegan option. So then they understand that it's actually tasty. Yeah, so I think that's a very good way to have them try something and change their mind a little bit.
Yeah, I suppose it's all about changing perceptions and actually meeting people face to face and talking and trying to really convey that. And Kyoko, when we were talking before this meeting, you were saying that sometimes when clients or when people meet you, they might have maybe a certain perception of you before they meet you because you are, of course, young and female and you have a tech company. And that's perhaps still quite unusual in Japan to be in that position. Have there ever been any times where you have perhaps you've had people have had strange perceptions of you, or you felt like you've had to sort of prove yourself?
Yeah, so maybe it's easy to imagine when I entered the factory, manufacturers, it's less people, women, females. Then I look a little young, so usually a client ask me, why are you CEO in this company? Oh, you're just like salesman or like PR or something. Yeah, but I thought it's chance to explain and say that my roles, because I want to be a bridge of clients and my company, engineers. Yeah, so engineers can create and develop good system like using a new technology, but they can't explain easy explanation. Yeah, like this is AI. You can use this. It's super good. Yeah, like so I explain the system to client. Your system now your operation is blah blah blah, and if you use this system, you can do easily like that. Yeah, something. And I negotiate and I had a patient to explain more easily if someone asked. Yeah. Sometimes it's stupid question, but yeah, I always answered property and make confidence about our system. Yeah. Yep. So it's my role, I think.
Absolutely. And I think you're a really good example of why diversity in business is so important, because you, as someone from the younger generation, someone who's female, someone who speaks English, like you say, you can explain in a way that someone else maybe wouldn't be able to, and you can sort of break down those boundaries, and that's really important. And Manami, I think you also, when you visited the United States, I've actually never been to the US, but I can imagine that those sort of attitudes to diversity and gender were perhaps quite different. And did you bring back any of those values with you when you returned to Japan?
By the way, at my university, I've learned media ethics and what we can do to broadcast without any terms or expression of discrimination. Like kind of like gender bias. But there, like I noticed that like I have been broadcasting so based on my unconscious biases, like which I was really disappointed with myself. Even in 2023, Japanese media still has a lot of rooms to improve on gender gap and the racial issue, I think. But my unconscious biases, like gender bias, was taken away from me by living in the US. At 29 years old, actually, I went to the US and studied for the first time in my life. It was such a difficult decision to make. Reasons that, like in Japan, there were still stereotypes and the peer pressure, like especially to women in their 20s, 30s, like of how they should be. So if you were step out of the culture bubble, like you may feel like afraid or like even lose self-esteem, like from the fact you're moving away, like from the Japanese standard. So in my own experience, like going abroad at 29 years old and studying at a university in the US, North Carolina State, by the way, like, I became a minority, like being an Asian woman. There were certainly difficult times, like living there, but actually there was a more gratitude, like that my biases were broken. So, like, I wish to create a future like without any like prejudice and like discrimination through learning and experiences like with the younger generations.
Yeah, I think that's great. And it's through events like this and through all of us coming here today and being able to meet lots of different people from different backgrounds that we can break down those stereotypes. And Fabio, you have experience of actually being involved with the Olympics and the Paralympics, the symbol of which is diversity and sports, sort of, overcoming language barriers and cultural barriers and things like that. But I understand that you worked on the Olympics in Tokyo at the time that it was still the pandemic, and it was a sort of an unusual Olympics, right? How did you and your team ensure that those themes of diversity still got through, and how did you overcome the challenges of the pandemic?
Yes, like as you said, Olympics should be something to include everyone, like the diversity should be showed up to the world. However, during COVID was like a huge challenge because there are so many events or so many cultural integration that we are planning, but we couldn't make it happen because people couldn't get closer to each other. However, especially the challenge regarding to diversity was related to as same things I told you before, like the values of everyone is different. So we want to make the games happen. So that's our goal. Everyone is moving ahead to that goal. But for example, Japanese, we move 5 or 10 minutes before the schedule. But there is like Brazilians that move like 15 or 30 minutes after the schedule. We are late, basically. So deadlines cannot be reached. But in Japan, we have really tight schedules. So that's why we plan ahead to communicate to the world in advance. For example, if the deadline is today, we tell the deadline actually is 5 days ago, so then we can reach on time, for example. But basically all those difficulties, not only because COVID happens, but in general to communicate with the world in such big event with 50,000 people, including athletes or the people supporting them, instructors. It's like a communication for everyone. So we need to make the communication very clear, but the communication not only to outside, but to inside as well. Because sometimes we imagine that your colleague is understanding what's going on, but he's out of the story totally out of the conversation. So we need to make everything clear. That's why by the communication, we need to make clear if the person understands or not. The question should be very clear as well. We need to conclude the meetings, not vague. We need to conclude the meetings with a conclusion. What I feel sometimes do not happen really. So, but that communication was very important. In my department, I was working in the international department of Tokyo 2020. We had people from many countries like Brazil, Argentina, Russia, French, of course Japanese, Americans, British. So everyone has different perspectives. So we were really engaged to communicate very closely, share our ideas or what we feel it's important. And of course, the language for us, English was the base. So everyone must talk the same language because obviously that's nowadays English is the multicultural language for everyone. But for example, my English I think is not perfect as a native, but I think you can understand somehow. So I but I feel like even the person speaks like a broken English or not a proper English, there's words you can get, and you should not really or judge the person speaks like a proper English or not by their accents or through what kind of words they use sometimes. So I think that was very important. And especially, just one more thing about the sports, because talking about the Olympics, it's a very important fact. One more thing that connected us was not only the language, but was the sports, because the sports has its particular language, especially talking about the rules, for example, can be, or when you're competing, actually, you do not speak the same language as your opponent, but you understand each other, just give your hand if the person fall in the field. And I felt that as I was in charge of African countries, I felt like sports is a really strong tool to connect the whole world. Because even if you do not speak a language, same as the other, or you do not have the same culture or background of the other. But sports, it's same, like you run, you jump, you throw. So I think sport has a lot of possibilities to open the mind and connect the world more closer as well.
For sure, and I mean, even today we've seen some brilliant performances of dance and music, which is sort of similar to, they have the similar power of sport, I think, of sort of being a language in themselves and being able to convey a culture and values, and that's been really great today. But we've also obviously heard from some brilliant English speakers today, and we've definitely felt the value of language study and being able to communicate, like you say, in a common language. And we are a panel of language learners and foreign language speakers. And Alina, obviously you, as you said, you've been in Japan for 9 years. You now have a business in Japan and you work here. Do you mind telling us a little bit about sort of how you got into the Japanese language study in the first place? And do you have any tips for any young people that might be here today that want to start learning a new language but don't know where to begin?
Sure. So I began studying Japanese when I was about 14, 15 years old, and I began studying by myself. And I really liked how the language sounded, so I just really wanted to try to learn it. It was like an impulse thing. I was just, there was no internet at that time. So I just studied from books. I just bought a book and I kept being consistent. I studied every single day. Like no matter what happened, I had to do my lesson. So yes, being consistent is one important thing. And also like immersing yourself in that language, like listening very much. Listening is very, very important, so you get used to the language and you learn new words and you get used to the pronunciation. And also like studying grammar just to make sure that you're speaking as correctly as possible, not perfect, but at least correctly. And that's it, just being consistent. Immersing yourself in it and listening a lot. And I was listening to Japanese dramas when I was learning Japanese, so that helped a lot. And that's it.
And do you find now, as a business owner and somebody who works a lot with Japanese businesses and Japanese restaurants, do you feel like in the 9 years that you've been here that Japan has become more accessible in terms of language, or would you say that it's still necessary really to be able to speak the Japanese language in order to run a business here?
Yeah, I think still doing things in the Japanese way is still very important and appreciated. So and also when I speak Japanese in a business environment, I kind of feel like acting in the Japanese way and doing things in the Japanese way. Like when you have a guest, you invite him to sit on the far seat from the room and things like that. So I still think doing things as in Japan, it's the most important.
Yeah, and I suppose it's all about respect, right? And it's about respecting your client's culture and things like that. And Kyoko, I can imagine that you also find that. And I mean, your English is obviously great, and I'm sure it's very helpful for your business. But how did you study English? Because you've actually never studied abroad, right?
Yeah, actually, I don't have any experience to study abroad long term or living outside Japan. But I'm talking in English with just passionate to tell what I want to tell you. I'm thinking it now. Yeah. So after graduate university, I joined Rakuten as a first career. Of course, maybe you might know Rakuten's common language is English. So I need to talk in English sometimes, and my colleague speaks only English, and so on. So I had a chance to talk English more. And after establishing my company, I try to attend a lot of presentation in English, like global competition, pitch contest, and so on. So yeah, I made the chance to talk and speak English more, and now practice more and more with my boyfriend, British boyfriend.
Very helpful, yes. and as Hiraga-san said earlier, it's practice makes perfect, right? And as Fabio-san also said, it's about not necessarily worrying about saying the perfect language and the correct word all the time, but getting your point across that is the most important. And I hope that we've also shown that today, that the point is getting your values across in whichever way possible, whether that be sport or dance or music, or whether that be learning another language, whether that be using technology or SNS. There are so many different things that you can use, and so many ways that we can be connected and that we can connect Yamagata to the rest of the world as well. Now we're going to wrap up soon, but I wanted to ask each of the panelists, as this is a youth summit, to give some parting words to young people in Yamagata and across Japan, maybe a piece of advice, something that you have learned, something that you wish that you did different when you were younger. Should we start with Manami, please?
Message?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining Yamagata Youth Summit today. What I want to say is Yamagata is full of charms. As a news anchor, I have had a chance to visit every city and town. Then I found out let's say wealthy nature and great food, historical buildings, and the warming people in Yamagata. So, but the issue is that as Japanese don't know about it. Or even Yamagata's own people may not even know much about their local areas, about the Yamagata. So I really want people here to acknowledge the fact that Yamagata has its own uniqueness and have confidence in themselves.
Thank you. Yeah, and that really feeds into Sakurai-san's talk earlier about the YouTube as well. Is looking for the uniqueness and then really pushing that. Fabio, how about you? Do you have a message for everyone?
Yes, specifically about Yamagata, as it's my first time here, I cannot speak much. But I would like to send a message to young generations, but not only young generations, for everyone. First, keep your mind open, accept the differences, just see the person as the person is. Don't judge their backgrounds or what they're actually doing. And also, the chances, it's very few sometimes. The chances appears to everyone, but depends the timing. Sometimes chances do not appear because maybe it's not your timing, but prepare yourself for that moment when it comes, because when it comes, it goes very fast. When the chance appeared to me, one teacher told me, seize the fortune by the forelock, which is grab the forehead hair of the god of luck, because it goes very fast. So when it's coming, you need to grab it. So be ready for when that moment comes. And the last one, sorry, my third and last, is be confident. You can be whoever you want. Really, you can just do whatever you want. Don't be shy. Go out and try everything you are curious about.
Great, thank you. A very stirring message there. How about you, Alina?
My message is similar to Fabio's. I want to tell not only to the young people, but everyone, just to have courage to be different, not be afraid of what society and what the people around might think of you, and just have the courage to live the way you want, and to change your life, and do things that make you happy, not only things that make other people happy. And just be enthusiastic about your life, and have the courage to be different. If you want to be vegan, you can be vegan. You don't have to listen to others around. So yeah, that's my message.
Yeah, I hope that everybody after this has at least been inspired to try some vegan food. And Kyoko, last but not least.
Okay, I'm totally agree all of the panelists the comment. But I also think don't hesitate to tell you want to say, and please think directly Yeah, of course, Japanese people tend to think about the customer or friends thinks like how do you think if I say that? Yeah, but it's better to think directly emotion or directly what you say, what you want to do. Yeah, so it's good things to challenge a lot of things in your life, in our life. Yeah, so I recommend to that kind of communication and yeah, challenge a lot of things.
Great, thank you. Well, I think we can summarize all of that to say that our message is be confident, be yourself, and don't be afraid to take risks, because a lot of the time they do pay off. Well, thank you very much, everyone. We're coming to the end now. I think Hiraga-san is going to give us a closing comment.
Well, it's not a comment, but just my thoughts or some of the what I think, and really appreciate all the people here, the panelists are saying, and I'd like to share with you all that nobody's saying the wrong things. Everybody's saying the right things. You mentioned about diversity, and nowadays I mentioned about the VUCA, but I also like to share with you about the age of DE&I. Is diversity, equity, and inclusion. Its former days, it's only D&I, but in addition, it is called the equity, not equality, equity. So everybody is keeping, good faith and also be confident to saying that I'm doing this way. Everybody is saying the right things. And everybody needs to follow that, and there is no wrong answers. To share the idea and also acknowledge each other. That's the final comments that I'd like to make and share with you. And thank you very much, all.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you very much for the panelists and facilitator and also Mr. Hiraga. Now we would like to open the floor to any possible questions you all may have. Please raise your hand if you have any questions. The gentleman over there.
Does this work okay? Okay. My question is actually for Alina-san. First of all, thank you very much for coming. My name is Alexander. I work in tourism here in Yamagata. This is, I think you said, your second time in Yamagata. And as someone who works in tourism myself, I'm wondering what it is you recommend tourists who don't really have the opportunity in a hotel or in a ryokan to make their own cooking. Where do they go for vegan food or even vegetarian-friendly food in Yamagata?
That's a good question, and I actually don't have the answer. I wish I would. But I believe we need more vegan options in Yamagata. I actually looked a bit around, but I couldn't find too many options. So I'm hoping to see more vegan options. And as a vegan consultant, I would really love to work with some restaurants and help them build a vegan menu. And I hope this will attract more inbound tourists to Yamagata. So I don't have too many recommendations, unfortunately, about restaurants. But yes, I hope that the situation will improve in the future, in near future.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the question.
Too.
Thank you. Any other questions?
This is a question to Manami-san. My name is Kenji Sakakiwara from Micro Machinery. You mentioned that the be confident, the message to the younger people. And I have a chance to speak to high school students and college students here, and I try to send the same message to them. But for the people who are born in Yamagata and grown up in Yamagata, they think that we have nothing in Yamagata. Well, you have everything in Yamagata. But how you can, I try to send the same message, hey, be confident, be proud. But how, is there any hint, tips, how we can make those younger generations feeling more confident, more proud of their hometown, this beautiful Yamagata?
Okay.
I'll speak in Japanese. そうですね。私はある意味山形に仕事で来て、そして一度ちょっと離れたというか、引っ越したことで改めて山形ってこんなに良かったところだったんだっていうところに気づいたっていう面もあるんです。どうしてもそこで生まれ育ってしまうと、いやもう何もないから地元にっていうところでちょっとどうしてもネガティブな声が増えてきちゃうかもしれないんですけども、なんか一度ちょっとだけなんか離れたり違うチャレンジをすることで、自分のホームタウンってこんな素晴らしいところだったんだって気づく日が来るんじゃないかなっていうふうに私は思います。
ありがとうございます。私も全く同感で、私は山形に生まれ育って18年、大学からその後なんだかんだで30年ぐらい山形を離れて、今山形に住んでるんですけど、全く同感で、やっぱり離れて外から見て分かるっていうことはあるので、なので、私もだから例えば高校生たちには一旦山形離れてもいいから、離れて見てまた戻っておいでっていうことを言うんですけど、参考にさせてもらうとありがとうございます。
はい、ありがとうございます。
Thank you very much. Now I'd like to conclude the panel discussion. Give a round of applause for our panelists and the facilitator today. Thank you very much. We received very valuable opinions on today's topic. I look forward to Yamagata's bright future. We are now holding a meet and greet, so everyone here today will be able to chance to network, exchange opinions and business cards. Now, I would like to open this floor for meet and greet. It's now time for the meet and greet. Please enjoy the conversation.